Hey everyone, Sparrow here, and welcome to a DLC tier ranking video, the first of its kind on this channel. Console Edition for Planet Zoo drops in about a week on March 26th, which is super exciting. So what better way to merge the PC and console community than a video about the awesome DLCs you can look forward to as a console player. So I am a PC only gamer. I'm actually not really a fan of console, and you can pry my keyboard and mouse from my cold, dead hands. But my friend over here does play console games and has only sort of played the base Planet Zoo game on PC before, so please welcome Finch to the channel.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I have been watching your channel since its birth.
That was not that long ago, actually, but you know, we're still here.
Oh, the beginning is still the beginning.
Yeah, that's true. In today's video, we'll be ranking each DLC, myself as someone who owns each one and has a pretty good idea of what they include, and Finch as someone who has never played the DLC and is looking forward to trying them out on console. We each have our own criteria to consider, listed from most important to least important right here. You can see it up on the screen right now, and this will ultimately decide our ranking of each pack. So let's get started, shall we? First up, the Deluxe Edition for PC was the first DLC and included the Pygmy Hippo, Thompson's Gazelle, and Komodo Dragon. It also came with the soundtrack and some wallpapers. This is the pre-order bonus for console. So I do love the Planet Zoo soundtrack. It has the perfect vibes for this game, I think. The DLC animals I don't use it very often, but I do like all three options, Pygmy Hippo and Komodo Dragon, because they are quite unique animals, and Thompson's Gazelle, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Hoofstock, for the Zoo Tycoon 2 throwback. I remember building for them a lot back then. They're nice to have, but could probably live without them, so I would say the Deluxe Edition is actually a miss me for me.
I think I'm landing similar to the bottom, but not quite all the way down at Miss Me. I would give it a meh. I like that you have three unique animals that are kind of, sort of in the same realm of existing. Like, they're kind of themed similarly. But in the end, I think that there are some other animals that I would probably go to first. And as a console player, the music and the wallpapers don't do a lot for me. So it's a meh for me.
All right, that's a pretty good rating. So the next one is the Arctic Pack. Came with 4 new animals, the Arctic wolf, doll sheep, polar bear, and reindeer, along with Arctic theme building pieces. This one also included 2 new scenarios for the challenge mode. So what do you think of this one, Finch?
I like this one. I'm a sucker for the Arctic stuff, though, especially being from Canada. I love to see some of those animals that are kind of less seen, even in regular zoos that you can go to in real life. So I am going to be rating this one pretty high up. I think I would give this one a love for sure.
So I bought the Arctic Pack along with the game and then didn't actually play the game until months later. I am a big fan of cool weather animals if you've seen the True North series here on the channel, and all of these animals are amazing and I think still hold up pretty well even though they're old models. The Arctic Pack scenery has lots of festive pieces, so it's not for everyone, but if you're trying to Christmasify a zoo, it's basically a necessity. So I think I'll give this one a like, just a step down from love.
I guess on my end, something that I would add to that is the building pieces for me don't really matter a ton because on console, building is extremely tedious. And so I am definitely going to be more excited about the interesting animals.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, they just released gameplay of Console Edition. It did look kind of tedious, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we'll have to see. When it comes out, I'll give it a shot and see exactly how difficult it is. Wasn't a fan of the Console City Skylines for the same reason.
Next up is the South America Pack. This one included 5 new animals, the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey, giant anteater, jaguar, llama, and red-eyed tree frog. We also got a bunch of new South American foliage and over 250 scenery pieces, including the bamboo and temple building set. So I haven't used this pack too often. I do love that it gave us a small monkey, and I love all four of the other animals as well. They're pretty iconic South American animals. Love the idea of building some temple ruins, just haven't ever done it myself, maybe in the future. I do think the bamboo and temple building set are good, but since the addition of the Indonesian set in a later pack, stay tuned to hear about that one, I'm less likely to reach for the scenery pieces in this pack. So this one's going to get a meh from me.
I'm gonna give it a meh as well. The animals are pretty cool. I mean, love the llama, of course, but the other ones aren't exactly ones that I would get super, super pumped about, and it seems to really emphasize the build pieces, which, as I said, is not really something that I'm super excited about as a console user.
I think we're gonna have very different ratings for all of these packs. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, we seem to agree on this one, but for completely different reasons.
Here comes the next one. From here on out, each pack comes with a new scenario, so I won't be mentioning that each time, but just know that there was a new career mode challenge with each one. The Australia pack came with new foliage from Down Under, new scenery pieces, and new enrichment items. We also got some iconic Australian species, including the dingo, koala, red kangaroo, southern cassowary, and the eastern blue-tongued lizard or skink. So what do you think of this one?
This one I really like. I'm a big fan of the Outback theme. I was really excited to find out that this was a pack that existed. And I've liked seeing you build with this one as well. Some of the animals are pretty cool. So I think I'm going to give this one a love.
That's a good rating for this one. I do think it has a great selection of animals. Obviously, it's geared very much towards, well, Australia. So if you're interested in building a zoo in Australia or an Australian section of a zoo, you basically have to pick up this pack and the Oceania pack to even have animals to put there. So this is like a must-have. The scenery pieces are super versatile in my opinion. Lots of rusty and corrugated iron, some reclaimed wood looks. Great for that ethical and environmentally friendly zoo trend that's kind of took over YouTube for the last little bit. So this one is going to get a like from me. All right, let's move on to the Aquatic Pack. New animals with this one included the king penguin, gray seal, giant otter, Cuvier's dwarf caiman, and the diamondback terrapin. The aquatic theme building set was another addition, as well as new foliage and water-based enrichment items. I absolutely love the animals, use the building pieces all the time. I think the aquatic fences are one of my most used pieces in basically any scenario. The pieces have a sleek and modern feel, matches the sleek, wet look of the animals that came with this pack, and I absolutely love that. So this one gets a love from me.
I also like this one. I like the animal selection. It is very fun to have animals that are going to have different animations and different behaviors. So kind of changes up from land and the animals kind of walking and running around to we get a little bit of swimming and diving, which is pretty cool. I'm going to give this one a like though, just because I can't imagine that it's going to be very easy for me to build good viewing areas for my aquatic animals. So as much as I really, really love the animals, and I'm still gonna try to use this pack in some way, I think it might be a bit difficult.
Yeah, the underwater viewing areas are difficult on PC, so I can only imagine the hardships on console. The Southeast Asia Animal Pack came with some enrichment items, as well as, obviously, a bunch of animals. The sun bear, the clouded leopard, proboscis monkey, Malayan tapir, North Sulawesi babirusa, binturong, dole, and giant Malaysian leaf insect. This pack is included in the deluxe upgrade of the console edition, so you will be getting it right away if you have purchased the deluxe upgrade. What do you think of this one?
Okay, I love this one. There are so many animals, and you get the enrichment items too, which are going to make the gameplay in general more interesting. So I would definitely give this one a love.
Plus, it has your dole on it.
It's true. I have a fond love for the dole.
Exactly. This was actually the first ever animal pack on PC. There are some amazing choices in this one, but I can't say I've ever built for any of them, unfortunately. I do love any type of cat, any type of dog, the binturong and the bear, but the rest are kind of meh to me. Also, if you don't already know, I'm definitely a builder. I play lots of sandbox and am also all about the design aspect of the game. So having no new scenery pieces with this one definitely makes me rank it lower. So this will be a miss me, unfortunately.
Well, we are on opposite sides for this one.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
interesting.
Let's see how we do with the next one. So the Africa pack, we got more new enrichment items and foliage, and the North African building theme. Animals in this one included the meerkat, southern white rhinoceros, African penguin, fennec fox, and sacred scarab beetle. Another love for me. Haven't built for all of the animals, but come on. Meerkats, iconic. African penguins, iconic. Fennec fox, also iconic. The other two I can take or leave, but there's still a nice addition to African sections. The building set though, wow, I can't wait to build a safari park. I have planned for a long time, so hopefully it'll come to the channel eventually. Honestly, just so I can finally play around with these pieces because they are absolutely gorgeous. And it's a nice mix of the type of traditional architecture you might associate with African sections and zoos, but also modern African architecture with that gorgeous stained glass that's in the pack. So this will get a love from me.
Okay, it looks like we're going to be on opposite ends again here. This is a miss me for me. I like the animals. I don't love them. I could probably go for some other animals first. The building pieces are gorgeous, but I'm just not going to use them that much on console. So unfortunately, this is a miss me for me.
That's really interesting. I'm really loving this. The North America Animal Pack. More animals. This time we have the North American beaver, moose, California sea lion, cougar, American alligator, black-tailed prairie dog, Arctic fox, and American bullfrog. Also new enrichment items. So, how do you feel about this one?
Well, I'm definitely going to love it that we have some new enrichment items. Love the wide selection of North American animals. I do feel like we're missing a couple North American animals from this one, but I'm definitely biased being in North America myself. But it is interesting that we have animals that are from the prairies as well as farther north, like the Arctic fox. So I'm going to give this one a like.
This is an animal pack I've actually used a lot. Living in Canada, I've seen a lot of these animals in real life, so maybe that's why I find them exciting and feel like I can build for them more easily. But yeah, the prairie dog, beaver, and moose are all animals I've seen basically in my own backyard, some quite literally. I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah, I came probably about 10 meters from a moose and her baby. It was a little scary, but yeah.
Yeah, sounds
backyard.
like it. And honestly, maybe that's why I'm ranking this one higher than our last animal pack, but still lower than others because give me my scenery pieces. So this one will get a like from me as well. A small animal roster with this one, we got the Eurasian lynx, alpine ibex, European badger, European fallow deer, and fire salamander. We also got some new enrichment and foliage pieces and the Europe building theme, which included a new type of piece, the decals. So the animals are all right, but hear me out. Rustic, stone. The building set from this pack is a must-have, in my opinion, not just for the stone piece, but also for the decals. They add so much life to buildings and boring concrete backstages. You've got the cracks and scratches, the grunge, the weathered looks, the brick or stone peeking through, or even little moss decals that can be recolored as dirt to add more detail to enclosures. It's so good for adding realism. It is amazing. But it will still get a meh from me because other than the decals, there's not many redeeming factors.
This one is going to be a miss me for me. It definitely emphasizes the theming, and the theming is, I love the rustic look, and I think the little decals are pretty cool if you're on PC. So the Eurasian animals are great, but I probably wouldn't pick them over some of the other ones that have been in the other packs. So yeah, this one's going to be a miss me for me.
The Wetlands Animal Pack gave us new enrichment items and 8 new animals. The Asian small-clawed otter, capybara, Nile lechwe, platypus, red-crowned crane, spectacled caiman, wild water buffalo, and Danube crested newt. This pack is included in the deluxe upgrade of the console edition. So, what do you think?
I think I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern with the ones that they're choosing to release with the deluxe edition. They're picking the ones that have a ton of animals because I think they know what lane console players are in. I'm going to give this one, I'm debating between like and love, to be honest, because I think it's awesome that there's this many animals, and I'm very excited about the fact that it's got some new enrichment items too to go with it. But when I think of Wetlands, I just think that we're missing some things yet. Like, we didn't really fully embrace the wetland theming here. So I think I'm gonna settle on like for this one.
I think this is the first pack where I was really, really impressed with the animal models. I haven't used many of them, but I do love many of these animals. And funnily enough, I think one of my favorites from this pack is actually the wild water buffalo. It just looks so good compared to some of the previous hoofstock. But because it is an animal pack, I will probably give it a meh. The Conservation Pack dropped the conservation theme and new foliage, including the meadow flowers. New animals included the Przewalski's horse, Amur leopard, Simang, scimitar horned oryx, and axolotl. So again, I like cats, so the Amur leopard is cool. The conservation story behind the oryx, which is no longer extinct in the wild as of 2023, by the way, is awesome. Having a horse is also fun. The Siamangs are super noisy to add some life to your zoo, and the axolotl is just a very interesting species all around. But what makes this pack are all of the little backstage items to clutter up your keeper areas. This pack really caters to people who like to build backstage areas for their animals and stuff, and I am one of those people, so this gets a love from me.
I am going to give this one pretty close, but not quite all the way to love. I'm going to go for a like on this one. I think that the animals are super cool. They're unique. You don't really think of these animals immediately when you think I'm building a zoo, but then you get kind of excited about it because why not put unique animals in? And I think that this pack really caters to that. So I'm giving this one a like. Backstage items, very cool. I don't know how easy it is for me to put backstage items in. I think probably easier than just straight building. So that also brings it up a little bit.
I'm so excited that you're on board with the conservation pack. Not even gonna lie.
I like it, and I like what you've done with it. I get excited when I see some builds that put conservation pack stuff in it. I think the theming's really good on this one.
With the Twilight Pack, we got the raccoon, red fox, common wombat, striped skunk, and Egyptian fruit bat for our first ever walkthrough exhibit. Also, new foliage and the spooky Twilight theme.
All right. I love that this one has the walkthrough exhibit. That's super cool and unique and helps the pack a little bit, but in the end, I'm gonna give this one a meh. It's got some cool things, but unless you're really embracing the nighttime mode, I just feel this one kind of being a bit of a missed opportunity, I suppose. So walkthrough exhibit, yay. Few cool animals, but I'm just not super on board with doing a Twilight pack in the middle of the day.
There were lots of complaints about the animals in this one because they're so normal and things you'd see in the wild rather than in zoos.
It does feel a little bit like a back alley pack, if I can say that.
Honestly, a little bit.
But maybe your walkthrough is just the back alley. Let's walk through the back alley and see some bats.
True, but I still really enjoy the animal roster here. Also, the foliage is super cool and includes creepy, witchy plants like foxgloves and lords and ladies plants, and the autumn leaf litter, which is a must-have for fall scenes. I'm pretty sure that was included in the free update though, so you don't necessarily need to buy the pack to get those things. But like the Arctic pack, it is pretty festivity heavy, but in this case, it caters to Halloween. However, I do think the building set works great for castles because of the mason work, especially mixed with the rustic stone of the Europe pack. And it includes one of my most used building pieces, the hinge. So small, but so impactful. And I honestly couldn't live without it. So that's why this pack gets a like for that one single piece.
Your review hinged on that factor.
Absolutely. The Grasslands Pack treated us to 12 new animals, including the 9-banded armadillo, maned wolf, emu, caracal, red-necked wallaby, striped hyena, blue wildebeest, and 5 species of butterflies. We also got some new scenery pieces in the form of signs. This is the best animal pack, hands down. The addition of the butterflies to walkthrough exhibits was genius. We got a new cat, we got a new dog, we got a new cat dog, some more Australian species, adorable armadillo. I love them so much. And the blue wildebeest looks so much better than the base game black wildebeest. Also, my other most used building piece, the grassland pole. So this one gets a like from me.
I love this set of animals. I definitely agree that this one probably has the best selection of animals of any of the packs. The maned wolf especially gets 3 thumbs up from me. And having the butterflies as another walkthrough exhibit, that's pretty cool and almost makes me say even more so, skip the Twilight one and just go for this one and you still get your walkthrough. So overall, I think that this one with the animals and the walkthrough butterflies together is going to give me a love rating on this one.
The Tropical Pack introduced the Indonesian building theme and some new foliage. For animals, we were introduced to the fossa, largibbon, red river hog, Asian water monitor, and the brown-throated sloth. What do you make of this one?
This one, I think, was honestly kind of a long time coming. I'm surprised that they didn't release this one sooner, just because the whole tropical theme is something that I, as a developer, if I was one, would have gone to immediately. I think some of the animals here are cool. I like the theming of it kind of being Indonesian inspired. You don't normally get to see that culture represented, so that's pretty awesome. And I like that it kind of works both with the trees and with the banks of rivers. So that combo, I think, is going to bring it to a like, but it is pretty build heavy as well, so it doesn't quite get into the love category for me.
So remember that Indonesian building set I mentioned during the South America pack rating? It came so much later with this pack and basically replaced the Temple Stone building set for me because it just looked so much newer and better. And the recoloring options for this one are just so good too. You can really make it fit any style of build. So I totally agree that this one was a long time coming. Like, it should have been in Planet Zoo a lot earlier. The animals, if you're building an Asian zoo, I think are basically a necessity, and they look great as well. But I'm gonna give this one a meh, because, you know, by the time it came out, we had so many other packs to play with. On console, it might be different.
It would be nice if they released this one a little bit sooner. I would love if their release pattern did not follow the release pattern for PC and they got this one out there a little quicker.
That's actually a really cool thought, and I hope Frontier watches this video.
If you're watching, listen to my ideas, please.
The Arid Animal Pack came in with the dromedary camel, addax, dama gazelle, African crested porcupine, sandcat, black rhinoceros, Somali wild ass, and desert horned viper. It also added a few new variations of foliage that already existed in the game as part of the free update. The animals are alright. I do like having a donkey in game, and the porcupine is pretty cool, but the rest I'm not super fussed about. The new foliage variations are awesome though. The creosote and Nitrera retusa bushes were great before, and this made them even more so. But I don't believe you actually need to have the pack to get those, so this pack gets a less than stellar rating from me. In fact, it's a miss me.
This is another one that I think the theming was a long time coming. I'm just surprised that we didn't settle on deserts sooner, but I'm happy we did. I'm a little bit of a sucker for the desert look and the desert landscape, maybe because it's literally the exact opposite of what we live in. So this one is actually going to get a like for me. I like the animals quite a bit, but in the end, I'm just imagining the habitats that I would build with them, and I just feel like they're all going to look kind of the same because deserts all kind of look kind of the same. Maybe that's my own ignorance in desert variety, but yeah, it's a like for me.
The Oceania Pack provided us with new foliage endemic to New Zealand, the Oceania building theme, and 5 new animals: the North Island brown kiwi, Tasmanian devil, little penguin, quokka, and spectacled flying fox. What do you make of this one?
I think that the theming of this one is super cool. The animals are very unique, as they should be if you're going to go full New Zealand on this one. New Zealand has a very interesting variety of animals, so I'm glad to see that they embrace that. I don't know how else you would have gotten these animals in the game otherwise. But I think that this one is going to give me a little bit of a meh, just because despite the fact that it is very unique, it also is so unique that I just don't see myself using it in a bigger zoo unless I have a area that is just all Oceania and Australian, which I just don't see myself doing very often. So it's a meh for me. However, if I was going to do a Oceania or New Zealand Australia zoo, I could see myself needing this one.
And that's totally fair. Like, the animals are a must if you're building anything Australian, New Zealand focused. Also, I think if you enjoy building for little animals, because these are some of the smallest animals in the game. And the Oceania building set is also incredible for anything tropical or coastal. Lots of driftwood, thatch, tiki-themed pieces, all around great stuff that I find myself using relatively often. So this one is going to get a like from me. And the final and newest pack as of right now, the Eurasia Animal Pack, gave us the Wisent, Wild Boar, Mute Swan, Sloth Bear, Wolverine, Saiga, Takin, and Herman's Tortoise. Not too much for scenery pieces, just new signs for our new animals. I do think these animals rounded out the European roster nicely. I can't say I was overly excited for any of them other than the Mute Swan because of what it symbolized for potential future DLCs, which might quickly be coming to an end anyway. The Wolverine is pretty cool too, I guess. Definitely didn't feel wowed by this one. So this one is a miss me.
I was pretty excited to see that they brought in some more European-inspired animals because I feel like that was something that was starting to get a little bit missed, so I was excited to see that. And despite the fact that this is supposed to be more of an animal pack, there's just honestly not too many new animals in this one, which is a little bit disappointing. If I'm going to be getting a pack, I kind of want to get the most out of it, and I just don't think I'm going to with this one. And while the animals are pretty unique in some capacity, they're also a little bit basic in another, so this one's a meh for me.
Alright, let's compare these final rankings. They are quite different. I feel like you ranked the animal packs a lot higher than I did, which is understandable.
Yeah, until I really see what the gameplay on the console is like, it's hard for me to know if I'm going to actually enjoy utilizing all of those build pieces.
Totally fair take. If you're a builder, you'll definitely want the scenery pieces in quite a few of these DLCs, but if you're all about the animals, I say just go for the animals that make you happy. Collect them all.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a couple of animals that I will use in absolutely every zoo, the maned wolf being one of them.
Great choice. So before we leave for today, one last thing. What's your future DLC prediction? We know there's one more coming, so what do you think it will be?
I mean, is it too hopeful to say it's aviary? I would love it to be, but I'm not actually sure if that's going to happen. From an animation standpoint, they're going to have to completely revamp some of their animations, and I'm just not sure if that's realistic. I'm kind of hoping that maybe we get a little bit more in that Middle Eastern territory. There's some pretty cool northern animals that are going to come from Middle Eastern in the mountains of, say, Afghanistan. And then you've also got some more arid animals. So I think that you could have a really diverse pack. So I'm going to predict Middle Eastern, but we'll see.
Honestly, my first choice would also be aviaries, but who knows if that's going to happen. If not, I'm kind of hoping for a Latin America pack just to get some more South American species. Small monkeys and such, specifically. They're definitely high up on my animal wish list.
You could get some pretty cool Central American, maybe some Afro-Cuban style stuff for your build lovers as well.
Honestly, that would be amazing. And that's all for today. Big thank you once more to Finch for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. This was tons of fun.
final big welcome to all of our new console players. I'm so excited for you to experience Planet Zoo for the first time, and I will see you next time. Bye.